What's up, everyone? It's Matt Mrozic, aka MVM3997, with an unboxing, double unboxing today. So with all the rave that's been going on about this company called GK Model, I thought I'd give them a shot, and I picked up two kits. These are kits I've been actually wanting to try for a long time, and since I've kind of finally got an interest in the figure kits, I figured I'd pick these up. The first one is, well, they're both Asuka models, Asuka on a Vespa. So I've got two versions. This is the 2.0, or I think it's the 1.5 they call it, the newer version. And then I got what they call the 1.0. So two Asukas on motorcycles. And what really kind of sparked me to get these, because I want to try the motorcycles, and now that I'm kind of into figures, I figured I'd give them a shot. So we'll start off with the 1.0, the first version. Now, the GK Model website, I'll put a link below. It's really easy to use. There's an English site and I think a Korean site. The English site's really, it's very well laid out. It's easy to navigate. They have a few Gundam kits, but it's mostly figures. They have some 5-star story stuff and some other mecha genres, but it's mostly figures. And heard a lot of good things about them, so I'd give them a shot. I got these kits. They were really, actually not that expensive at all. They're less than $100 a piece, and shipping was, I don't know, like 20 or 30 bucks. I did not choose EMS. I chose their standard air, and it took exactly 1 week to get here, so pretty good. So let's open up and see what we got. Oh, I do have to mention that when I got it, the box was torn. And my guess is this happened in customs, because when I got the big box, it had a big sticker on saying it had been inspected by customs, because the other box isn't torn up at all. But this one is a little torn up, but still, it came okay. Excuse me. So I have to tell you, I did open up a couple pieces on this already, but so we're greeted by a couple sheets of paper. First one gives us some photos of the finished kit. And I probably won't be too original. I'll probably just go with the same color scheme, the red and black, because I think it looks really sharp. So these photos are actually really nice. They're actually really easy to see, even though they're like colored copies. Oh, and sorry, fan's blowing it away. The decals, and these are pre-cut. Nice set of decals. And my favorite part is it comes with eyes. Yay, decal eyes. I don't have to worry about painting eyes. So their decals, these are pre-cut, looking pretty good. And then we hear the instructions and parts layout. Very nice sheet with the parts layout. Everything's been numbered, so you can reference the instructions. Looking really good. So I briefly looked at these kits, and there is a slight quality difference between the two. So this is, I think they call this the 1.5. No, sorry, version 1. Version 1. So my first nitpick about this kit are the instructions. They're actually really terrible. They're photocopies of the originals, but unfortunately you can't tell what anything is. You have to go simply by the numbers and kind of figure out what's what, because the drawing or the illustration is absolutely terrible. You can't tell what anything is. So luckily everything's been numbered. So that's it for the figure instructions. And then this also has a parts layout, but the motorcycle's like even worse. Where's the other? I can't even tell if I have the other instructions. So yeah, so the instructions are lacking, to say the least. So, but I think with enough research I can figure out how this thing goes together, but instructions are terrible. So let's hope the kit quality is better than the instructions. I'm kind of thinking it is. We'll put that away. And we'll open up some pieces here. Nice little bubble wrap. You get a nice a spring for the rear suspension, some wires for the brake lines and gas lines and stuff like that, so that's nice. Now, one thing I do find odd about this, I'm going to pull all these bags out, and I'm not sure why it says that they do this so you know where the seam is, or because the seam has been worked on, but each piece has a pink line around where the seam would have been on the mold. Hope you guys can see this. See if I'll focus. It's very subtle, but there's a pink line right along where the seam is, and every single piece has that. So if anyone who's had these kits before, let me know if that's a normal thing. I mean, it's no big deal. It gets sanded off, but I'm just curious to know why it's there. So anyway, like I said, I opened a few pieces. This is part of the motorcycle, as you can tell, and it's actually casted very nicely. It looks really good, smooth, no bubbles. The gates are really small. So this is a 1/6 scale, so it's a good size. The wheels are casted very nicely. Let's open these up and take a look at them. Again, the wheels are actually perfect. Ever so little bit of flash right there in the spoke, but other than that, that's really for primer and paint. Pretty impressive. So the wheels, let's open up this part of the motorcycle. Sorry, I've got something in my throat and I'm not able to get it out. Again, casting looks really good, sharp. The details are all intact. I'm going to bring my camera down a little bit so you can see. Someday I'll get a really good setup for doing videos, but right now my setup sucks. So if you're like the gentleman who left a lovely comment about not being entertained enough, turn the video off now, because this is not entertainment, this is information. So if you want to stay around and learn something cool, continue to watch. If you want to be entertained, get a Netflix subscription or go to the movies. But other than that, stay tuned and we'll look at some cool kits, and maybe we'll learn a thing or two about building models. But okay, enough of that. No more griping. But the casting on this is actually really good. It's a white resin. I haven't sanded any of it, so I'm not sure how it sands, but it looks like a pretty good high quality resin. I'm going to put the box on the side here so I can put parts away as I go. But just as a reference, like this is here, and this fits in here and it fits perfectly. It's like really no seam at all. So let's throw some of these parts in the boxes as we go. I'll just unpack the bigger pieces because I don't want to lose or break the smaller pieces. Let me open up the figure, because she's broken down really nicely as far as engineering goes, and we'll take a look at her sculpt. Alright, get some of this trash out of the way. My workbench is a mess right now because I'm working on the Kshatriya and all sorts of stuff. So again, if you look right down there in the middle of the leg, you see that pink line. That's where the seam is. And I'm not sure why it's there. I mean, because I really don't feel a seam. It's very, very subtle. So it's very minimal cleanup on that. It's done really well. And there's a tiny gate right there. It's in a really nice spot. So that'll sand smooth. Here's Asuka herself. Face sculpt looks really good. Her plug suit looks really good. Really happy with that. And she has a helmet that comes in 2 pieces. And there's a couple pieces of clear resin. But yeah, I mean, looking sharp. That leg will plug right into there, and you'll have a seam to fill right there. So you have to fill the seam, and then you have to rescribe some of this detail, but it's not the end of the world. But it keys very nicely. And you'll have the same thing on this leg. I can't key it in right now because of the gate, but it's a good size. I mean, she's probably 10 inches tall for a 1/6 scale, so it's about right for a female figure. Take a look at her hair. Hair's broken up into a few pieces. There's like one main piece for the back, and this is really nice. There's a little bit of cleanup here at the bottom. There's a little piece of sludge there, but very delicate, very well sculpted, and very well casted. Let's look at the motorcycle. Let's look at the engine. So my initial thoughts on GK kits: very impressive, very nice done, nice job. There's the engine block. Again, I'm not familiar with motorcycles, so as far as I can tell, this looks really good. Really, once you glue this piece on there, there's no seam to take care of. I guess you could, but you'll never see it. It'll be inside the motorcycle. I'm not going to open this bag. This is full of a ton of little pieces, but you've got some of her hair right here, which are like the bangs. You've got the disc brakes. You've got the handles in here, the brakes, the hand brakes, parts of the engine, some body panels. So I'm not going to open that because I don't want to lose any of those pieces. Take a look at this. Looks like the bike frame and the other part of the helmet. Take a look there. I've not done a parts check, so hopefully everything's here. So here's the bike frame, and it's going to peg together somewhere in here like this. Assuming the engine, this will plug into here. Something like this. The engine block will go in the middle. I don't know. I'm not a motorcycle guy, but that's kind of how that's going to go eventually. Here's the rear suspension right here, or the rear fork, I should say. Looks really good. I'm not sure what this is. Here's the bottom half of the helmet, looking really good, nice and sharp, very smooth. I don't see a seam on that. It's probably a one-part mold. Again, this pink line, I don't get it, but whatever. Again, I'm not going to open this bag. Well, we can open it up. It's not too bad. They're not small. Some of these are kind of frail looking. So we have the chain here with the spokes. And that's going to be a little hard to, not a lot of cleanup, but there's a little bit of, there's a few little gates here and there. Some flash inside. Nothing major. The clear resin is not very clear. I'm assuming this is resin. It almost feels like plastic, but I think it's resin because there's a gate. A little sanding, polishing, and some future, and they'll be crystal clear. I may actually just tint these too because they may look kind of cool. This is the visor for the helmet. Exhaust pipe. Again, looking really good. Looks like the front of the bike right there. Or no, that looks maybe the tail part, the tail of the bike. And now here's part of her jacket. It's interesting. You can the jacket is not molded onto the body, so this kind of goes on. I guess you could theoretically magnetize this or put tiny pins, and you can take the jacket on and off. Here are the front spokes. Those are looking really good. These are really nice and straight, not warped at all, which is always nice. A lot of times, this one's warped a little bit. It's not bad. Not sure if you can see that in the video. It probably won't even need any work. And it comes with a kickstand for the bike, so this will sit like this. This goes together, and then you can put the rear wheel in there to keep the bike from falling over. So this is the 1.0 version, and it looks really good. Again, my first kit from GK. So that's the end of this video, and I'll unbox the next one for you here in a second. So it's Matt Mrozik, aka MVM397, signing off. Stay tuned for the 1.5 or 2.0 version. I'm not sure what it is. Thanks for watching.